Lads, we are back for season 2 of the Socially Awkward podcast.
If you're looking for a podcast dedicated to being a little bit cringe, having a few hilarious anecdotes and special guests, and join us each week because we will deliver just that.
New episodes of the Socially Awkward podcast drop every Thursday on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and you can watch the full episodes over on YouTube.
The Socially Awkward podcast is sponsored by RTE Player, where you can discover new shows like The Hilarious Goodbye, starring Tony Cantwell, and must-watch series like Kin and Normal People obviously has to be on that list.
So what are you waiting for? Dive into live TV and the biggest shows from home and abroad now on RTE Player.
Hey!
I forgot that. Hey! Welcome back to the Socially Awkward podcast. My name is Daniel.
My name is Brandon.
And I'm Shanice, and we are 3 best friends who share our awkward little lives with you all. So if you're looking for a good laugh, mostly always at our own expense, then you found the right place.
Keep a paracetamol beside you. You'll be sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you to RTE Player for sponsoring the pod, lads. It's the new year.
It's the new year.
Well, it's actually a little secret. It's not.
Look at the jumper he's wearing.
No.
It's not. He's still in his Christmas spirit.
But when this comes out, it's the new year.
Yeah.
So, lads, I don't know. I've been thinking about this, right? Because obviously we know this episode is coming out after the New Year's, so we want to talk about New Year's resolutions and that type of stuff. But I have no idea what to resolve. I'm just perfect. Absolutely
I can give
perfect.
you a few.
I'm snotting over here.
New Year's resolutions. Have you put any into play?
Have I?
Yeah. I
What?
wonder, will I be skinny by the time this is out?
You're already skinny.
Ozempic.
I asked her to say that. Ozempic? Yeah, do you have a few? Pass it underneath the table, please.
No,
Absolutely
I'd
not,
love to. I have been on this weight loss journey now for ages, that now I'm like back in a bulk and I'm doing PT and I'm putting on weight every week and I'm like, oh, so I can't lose weight for the new year.
You don't need to lose weight.
Which is like, but that's like probably one of the top things is like to get into the
'cause
gym.
you did it
get
last
fit.
year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just build
but
your fitness level.
It's just so strange to me to be gaining weight. I hate it.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry,
Really?
trigger warning.
That's what bulk is it? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You always
so-
say like
Because we're
bulk
talking
and
about
cut, and
fitness.
I'm just like,
Yeah, going
Yeah.
into a cut means obviously you're cutting your body fat. Is it your body fat percentage?
Yeah.
yeah.
And then bulk, it means that you're building muscle.
Yeah.
Oh, you're building muscle or are you gaining weight?
Well,
Both.
yeah,
muscle.
both, but then you go back into a cut and then you shred the fat.
What's
and you're
your
left with
goal?
them.
Like, do you want to be like ripped?
I don't want to be ripped, but I just want to be lean
Right.
and built.
Who's someone that you could?
Arnie. No.
Arnie.
Do you know Arnie? Arnie. Do
Love him.
you know Terminator?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll be
Oh,
back.
Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just call him Arnie.
Oh,
Arnie, are
Arnie,
you on
Arnie.
first name,
'Cause
little
they're
nickname
like,
basis
yeah.
now?
Friends with me, Dad. But yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about New Year's resolutions. Maybe just to save up and travel more, definitely.
Oh yeah, I'd love to travel
That's a
more.
big one, you know. But I think,
I break
No,
my
I just
New
think
Year's
it's a load of
resolutions all
bollocks,
the
to be
time.
honest. I have to make New Year's resolutions and a few months later I have to be making stuff for Lent.
I know, yeah.
Like, let me live.
Can we not just be ourselves? Why are we constantly being
Why is
judged?
this world trying to constantly
Change me.
change
Every year I'm like, I'm going to start eating healthy on the 1st of January. Going to start. And
No.
then I don't. No, I do for the first day of January. And then
the first day?
the second day, I eat a whole box of celebrations.
Do you know what it
I
is?
can't wait for the Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Now I went to Christmas sweets.
No, but you know what it is? I think with New Year's Day, I kind of write that off because everybody's out on New Year. Well, I know you ring in the New Year with your family, so that might
Yeah.
be different. But like an awful lot of people would go out and they'd be, you know,
Or
on the
work.
gaggle or what is it?
Work.
Or work. But you know, people would go out and then the next day you're hungover and all you want is junk food. So I don't think the 1st of January is like a good. I think like maybe like the first Monday after New Year's.
They say that when you make a New Year's resolution for like the first week in January, there's a percentage, I don't know the percentage, but is bound to fail at that resolution because you're putting so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's so fair because a lot of people do. And then I'm that type of person that I'll eat something bad and it'll be like Tuesday. I'm like, I have to wait till Monday to start eating healthy again.
Yeah, I'm like, need to go back at it. Been doing this for about 6 years. But I'm like that as well. I'm like, well, I'm after eating bad for the week now, so I might as well pig out for the whole year.
See, I used to have this habit where I would take, I don't know if I've said this before in the podcast, but I'd have the like pictures, progress pictures, and it'd be like before.
And
but
I'd
I'd just
never have an after.
Before, and it's just me getting progressively bigger.
Before.
Literally all of COVID, which was 5
Yeah, I
years
look
ago.
like a before picture.
Years ago.
COVID was 5 years ago.
Five
That's
years
a
ago.
whole child.
What?
Well, that's crazy because you could say a day, and that's a whole child as well.
Yeah, no, I know that, but like
That's a whole child.
18
That's
years,
like-
that's the whole child.
yeah, but do you not get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get it.
It's a
but
long
it was just
time.
mad. That
It's a
is
long
mad.
time.
We're friends in about 5 years, are we?
Too long.
Too long. Way too long.
True.
Way too long. We spoke
This
about how
contract
we
is keeping
became
us
friends.
together.
Yeah, no, we
We've
did.
experienced a lot, I think, together though. Like we moved in together. We
Nearly.
you've been on holidays together. We haven't been on a group holiday together.
Next year.
Wow,
Three of us.
this
New
year.
Year's resolution.
You said next year.
This year.
Oh, call him.
Sorry.
No,
Caught you
Happy
out on that
New
young
Year.
one.
This year.
Happy New Year. No, we will be. This year.
Yeah.
This year we will.
Are
Absolutely.
you going on a skiing holiday? I'm so gel. I'm so gel. That's
wait.
been on
Might
my
make her even more jealous.
that's been on my vision board for like 3 years.
Watch me roll down the hill.
Yeah,
I
well,
nearly
I'd say
died.
that'd be the most
No,
fun part of
Full
it.
on nearly died when I went skiing. I've been skiing twice. Flex.
Oh, come on.
And yeah, nearly died the first time. Crazy.
How?
It's mad because,
On the slope?
yeah. So when you're in the skis, when you're skiing, they always tell you to make like a pizza shape for like people that are learning. So it's like your skis, this is your 2 skis, and you make a pizza shape. So this is like slows you. So you can go slow and then you can like
I'd break my ankle.
move. Yeah, it is a lot of strain on your ankle, to be fair.
I'd break my
Especially when you're
ankle.
going down Bleeding Hill like that.
Yeah.
But we were going down like one of the first slopes. You have like the slopes named and different things, like blue slope, red slope, black slope was like obviously the steepest. So we were on the blue slope and it was like we were all like 12 and I'm going down this slope and we had to like, it was basically like a big slope and then a little one and then a big one and then to the bottom. And we had to like, the instructors were basically making us go down, take your time, going left to right, all the way down, then you stop on the middle slope and you have to wait there. Everybody was there and dunk at me hopping up on the mountain. I put my 2 feet down and just went straight. Went straight down the mountain. Didn't do the pizza thing. Didn't do the pizza things and then I fell on my back. So I'm falling on my back and I'm going about 70 miles an hour down this mountain like with me knees. Like I don't know how to even can I try and show you? I'm
Daniel's
like that.
knees bend
I'm
backwards
like that,
as
like
well.
my knees are like that. I'm lying down on my back with my bleeding ski yokes in my
Still
hand,
going down the mountain.
going down the mountain. And like all I can see is up and God at this rate because I thought I was gonna die. But then I like clipped the end of the mountain and I started flipping then. But with the skis on me. The skis were like I thought it was gonna be like a snowball. You know when you roll up into a snowball?
Say to you, do you ever see them cartoons where you roll?
Olaf by the time I got to the bottom of the mountain. But I was so scared. I thought I was literally gonna be broke. I thought like arm there, leg over there. Her arms were cut off, her legs were cut off. I thought that was gonna be me, but I literally wasn't grazed.
Were you sore?
I don't even think so.
No.
Because I'm just built different. A bit like the mountain. That's why the mountain was like, no, let's take care of him. That's my brother.
Oh, lads, we have.
yeah.
Anyways, moving on from that, we
I
have a
wanna go
very
skiing.
exciting guest on today.
We did.
I'm so
Very
excited. It's
exciting.
not even funny.
I can't believe we bagged Mr. Garron Noone.
I know. I know.
That's insane.
Follow me. I'm delicious.
How do you do that?
That was quite good, wasn't it?
Follow me.
He
I'm
probably-
delicious. No, I just don't. I sound like I have a black
Follow
nose.
me, I'm delicious.
That's
Is
so
that good?
good.
Yeah.
Follow me. Well, he's probably gonna rinse me now later on for saying
If
that.
Garron
Do it
Noone was
again.
gay, yeah, I'd believe
Follow
it.
me, I'm delicious.
I'm delicious. That's spot on.
Follow me, I'm delicious. There.
You sound like
That was
Simon
very
Harris. You
What?
sound like Simon Harris.
Oh,
No, do you Simon Harris?
Follow me, I'm delicious.
no, I didn't.
That was good as well.
That's
So-
a red card.
We're going to hear a little word from our sponsor and then we will be back with Mr. Garron Noone himself.
If you're on the hunt for something to watch, RTE Players got you covered with some of the biggest and best shows from home and abroad, such as Yellowstone, The Bold Type.
Or you can stream everyone's favourites like Kin and Normal People.
Or if you're after a good laugh, don't miss Good Boy. It's got Tony Cantwell, an ADHD diagnosis, and he's hilarious. Guaranteed you'll watch it in a day.
And sure, that's not even the half of it.
There's so much to watch on RTE Player.
Head on over and watch the latest shows now.
Hello and welcome back, guys, to the Social Awkward Podcast. So, in the studio today, I don't know if we even need to introduce him, because if you don't know him, you are absolutely living under a rock. Even Stevie Nicks knows this man. He's best known on TikTok for his music, but he's best known to be delicious. Mr. Garron Noone.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to
Thanks
the
for
podcast.
having me. I'm
Thanks
supposed to
so
be here.
much for being on.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
So, Come here, listen, what was it like when you were first thrown into the public eye? Because it's after blowing up for you so recently as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's mad, yeah. So I started making TikToks about 2 years ago. And the main reason I started making them was because I started reviewing cereal on my Instagram page. My Instagram page was like my business page, so I used to teach music for a university and I used to do gigs, and I was like, oh, it's probably a bit unprofessional to have like a 15-minute video of me eating the new Cocoa Pops that are out. So I was like, oh, I'll throw these, it'll annoy people, so I'll throw these up on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I was cutting them up into like 1 minute segments, so it was like 15 1-minute segments of me, and then I'd be on like, because I was eating the whole bowl of cereal, because I feel like, can't give a proper review, off 1 or 2 spoons. You've got to let it sit, you've got to let it fester. So like there was my early TikToks, if you go back, you will find a TikTok that's like the 14th spoon of a bowl of cereal. And I'm like, it's not changing much now, it's kind of settling into the milk. So those didn't do that well, obviously, because I didn't have a clue how to use TikTok. And then after maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I made a video which was me reviewing all the ice creams in the shop and putting them in a tier list. And that video got like, at the time I think it was like 60,000 views, and I was like, I'm the most famous man on the planet. There, can't leave my house, fair enough. I learned to adjust, I suppose. And that was basically how it started. And then I think I decided after that, like, if I could get people to watch one video, then if I made a video every day, then they probably wouldn't watch like 800 of them, but the 900 one they would watch. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll just do that then.
You were consistent. You kept going with it and switched it up. It really is though, isn't it? Especially in the world of TikTok and like social media. But you're known by Stevie Nicks. Sorry, what?
Stevie
That
Nicks.
is
A
wild.
shout out from Stevie Nicks in the Tree Arena, like what?
Was it the Tree Arena?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, 3 Arena.
True,
Yeah, she was
really?
doing
It's
it.
like, yes,
It's
it was.
mad, yeah. So yeah, for ages it was like it was like kind of just regular slow stuff, and like I'd get a few followers or whatever, and then there was this like 3 or 4 month period where a load of mad shit happened at once, and it went. Sorry, I'm not a curse, am I? No,
You can. You're just not allowed to say to see you next Tuesday one.
Okay, I'll stay away from that one then. So yeah, there was like this period of time where like it all went kind of nuts, and then Stevie Nicks was talking about me, and they invited me on the Late, and I had no idea you could do that from TikTok, because I was just eating cake in my house. That's a nice cake. I had no idea that anybody was going to have any interest in that. But Stevie Nicks is still the maddest thing ever, because I have been listening to Stevie Nicks since I was like, before I could even knew what listening was. So I mean, what an honour. She's watched me scream at a cup of tea in my mum's kitchen.
Isn't that wild? You don't know, like, when you're posting these videos all over the internet, whose For You page you're going to pop up on.
It's mad. Yeah.
You never know, because it just looks like numbers, but there's people behind them numbers. And Stevie Nicks was one of them.
Yeah, 100%. For years, like the first year and a half, I was just like playing a game, and I was like trying to get a good score on my new video. I was like, oh, that's a funny one. Maybe that'll get a high score. And it's mad though when you actually think that there are actually people sitting down watching it.
That scares you.
And the fact that Stevie Nicks. And do you know what I'm most proud of is that she was showed it by her band, right? And she didn't want to like it. She was like, they always show me stuff and it's not funny. And I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this. And then she goes, I watched it and I loved it, Mr. I'm Delicious. I'm like, yes!
I love it.
I turned Stevie Nicks into a TikTok viewer. I've brain rotted Stevie Nicks.
Are you just best friends now or what?
I wish, yeah. She's probably completely forgotten I exist. But for that brief moment in time, she knew who I was.
She'll probably invite you on tour next.
I'm absolutely thrilled
For
with
dinner, maybe, no?
I'll go for dinner with Stevie Nicks, absolutely. Anytime, any place, you name it, Stephen.
Have you slid in the DMs or anything, no?
Not yet, no. I'm hoping one day she will, but I'm sure she's forgotten about that video of me shouting at the tea.
That is brilliant.
But I had it for a time.
That is brilliant.
It's madness though, but even like we can relate to that. It's really strange to see it all manifest in. Well, yeah. Sorry, she actually gave me a shout out as well just after Garron. Don't know if you've seen that. No, but it's strange to see that manifest in real life, like when people like that come up to you on the streets, or like actual real people who aren't behind a screen are acknowledging who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's such a strange feeling. So how did you kind of adapt to that? Because for us it was kind of an adjustment, because we did it for during COVID. So that we weren't going out. I think we were friends for about 6 months before we actually met each other in real life. So we got
for to us, dodge people essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a while where it was just the odd person, like maybe every few days it would come up, and then it was like, oh, this is the people are watching the TikTok.
Yeah.
And then there was a sort of a time where it started to become a lot, where it was like, anytime I would go and do anything, I'd be like, you know, in the cereal aisle, and people would be like, what cereal is he going to get in today? Like whenever I was if I was looking at the bars in the shop, people were like, oh, what bar has gotten smaller, Garron? So I found that a bit weird, but I'm kind of sort of getting used to it now. It is strange. I'm very easy to see, so I get it, I think, a bit worse
It's the
than
same
other
with
people.
Brandon. He's like a
I
blank.
did be walking down the street with Niamh. Do you know Niamh O'Connor?
Yeah.
So like, and she's like 5'0". So no, like she could walk through a crowd and nobody would say anything to her if she just sticks on her sunglasses or whatever, and she's fine. But then they see me and they're like, Jesus, there's that fella off TikTok. And then they see Niamh next to me and they're like, Nevo, and they just start screaming at Niamh then, and I'm just like,
Because the height difference is wild between Brandon
I
and
just
Niamh.
like stick out like a sore thumb, so I relate to that completely.
He's like a whole person taller than Niamh.
I seen a video you did together. It popped up on like Instagram or something, and I legitimately thought that like you had done some CGI. Like I thought you had edited it, and I was like, no, that these are two actual human beings.
genuinely.
People don't believe.
No. I
That's
remember
all.
the first video I saw of him, right, on TikTok, and he was standing beside the door frame in his house, and I was like, he's standing on a chair.
Yeah.
Or he's on
That's what
stilts
everyone
or
was
something.
saying, like, and I was trying to prove it. There was a moment in time where I was trying to prove it, and all I was doing on TikTok was just trying to say, I am tall.
Yeah.
I am actually this height.
I just thought you lived in a really small house.
I do, yeah, igloo. No, but look, it's impossible for me. Even when I wake up in the morning, like I do be half asleep and I just whack my head off the door frame. Like
Yeah.
that's my existence.
Touch the wall and your head touched the other wall.
Yeah,
The situation that's going on.
I have to lie diagonally in the bed.
I can imagine, like, because people tell me I'm tall, but you're tall.
I'm
like
freakishly
tall
tall.
within the normal range of tall.
Yeah.
And you are tall. Like you're intimidating. I don't have to look up at many people.
Imagine how it is for me though when I see somebody who's taller than me.
Yeah, do you find that as well? When you find somebody who's taller than you, it's really weird. You're like,
Do you know what?
I'm frightened of them. And I'm like, is everybody frightened of everybody all the time?
There's very few instances where I would come across people who are taller than me, but there was one that has stuck out to me. It was at EP this year,
Oh, you said
and
this.
I walked past a woman who was taller than me.
Wow.
A woman who was like 6'8", and I was in shock. Now it might have just
Yeah.
been the drink, but I
It
could
might have just
swear
been the drink.
I could swear she was taller than me, and
fucking
I was
statue was
astonished by it.
upside.
Because I've
Maybe it
never.
was someone on someone's shoulders.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't. It was beside that little chapel. But
Like to
no,
believe that.
it's insanity, honestly. But yeah, thank you though.
Yeah, tall
I
king.
love being intimidating for once.
Tall king. But come here, you went so viral for your food reviews and the follow me, I'm delicious. Where did that come from? Was that just like a thing that you said one day and you were like, do you know what, it's sick, so we're gonna keep rolling with that?
Yeah, so my videos, when I started making them, I was like, I'm just going to annoy people and just make videos every day, and then I'll probably get followers. I didn't even know what I didn't know how people made money at it, but I was like, sure, it's worth the go. Like, it takes, at the time it took 10 minutes. Now I'm like, oh, I've come up with a good idea. People are watching. But at the time I was just shoveling any old shite out the door and like, just putting everything up. And I was trying to come up with videos every day, but most of them were so bad. Like, they were just about nothing. Like, there was one day where I reviewed a sausage roll from the shop. I was like, oh, it's been sitting a while. It's kind of gone a bit hard, but it is still, you can still taste it's a sausage roll. I had nothing for saying, like. So at the end, I was like, geez, this video's chronic. I'm going to have to say something, random or something at the end. So I just went, follow me, I'm delicious. And my plan was, I was like, oh, do you know what I'll do is every time, because I tried out this other thing at the start of my videos. I was like, hello, it's your favourite smooth squeeziness here. Like, I tried out different stuff, and I was like, actually, Garron, that's just inappropriate and crazy, so we'll leave that bit out. But I was going to say something different at the end of every video. But after I said that, a load of people started commenting on my other videos going, why didn't you say follow me, I'm delicious at the end? Why didn't you say your thing at the end? So it was kind of the people watching the videos that chose
clicked onto it first.
Yeah, and now I found out that it's the best, most applicable to almost every brand thing you can do. And it's thank you guys, thank you for the money.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beyonce.
She does watch, so just
Yeah, we do.
Cheers,
We just
Beyonce.
need to make
Do you know
sure.
what it is though? It's very. It's a smart way to do it. The easiest way to get people to follow you is just to ask them.
It is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I
Yeah.
find.
I actually never even clocked that. You're actually telling
Follow
people
me,
to follow
I'm
you.
delicious.
So here's the
So
social
smart.
media trick I'm going to give away for free.
Like, here's a few tips.
Find a way to ask for something in a way that people like.
Okay.
So if you want people to follow you, ask them to follow you in a way where people say, follow me, I'm literally begging for followers. And they're like, oh, beg me to follow you. It's like, it wasn't planned, but I was so lucky with it, where most people would go, oh, and if you don't mind giving us a follow. And then people are like, you. All you care about is views and money. Whereas people are asking me to do it, so I got very lucky with that. But yeah, for lots of things, like if if you can come up with a little like catchphrase or something like that, give me money because I'm whatever,
I'm not
Give
delicious.
me money because you're gorgeous.
Yeah, this is it though.
Yeah, it works.
Do you know what though? Like, speaking of, like, you're talking about making money there. Did I hear this right? Did you start an OnlyFans?
I did.
Oh, we went to see you
Oh, yeah,
at
we
the
did,
Paddy
yeah.
Power Comedy Festival,
Oh,
right?
right. Well, thank you.
You were brilliant.
Thank you very
Absolutely
much.
brilliant. You had everyone in Confultus laughing. But you did mention this in your set, didn't you, about the OnlyFans
Yeah.
thing. Explain to people what that
Yeah,
is.
so the OnlyFans, I was offering the male boyfriend experience. And the male boyfriend experience is like, basically, I've got the camera set up across the table. There's a little candle in between us. I've made us a lovely dinner, chicken dippers, you name it. I treat a woman right. And I'm basically like, oh, jeez, I'm wrecked from foot and turf all day. And then basically it's just like boyfriend simulation. So there's a video where we cuddle in bed. So I'm like lying down in bed, and I'm like, I'm ready to stop cuddling. When you are, hang on, actually, them dishes, they left in the sink. I'm gonna go and sort them out for you. You relax. And listen, I've hit what women want. Like, it's.
Have they paid for this?
Oh yeah.
Are you
yeah.
joking?
I did
That's
make it.
brilliant.
I did make it as a joke. It wasn't actually for money.
Yeah.
So it's like, this will be funny.
But people paid for it.
So yeah, the plan was I wanted to just make enough money so that I could go take it out of the ATM, lie in my bed, throw it all over me and go, this is my sex money. So that was the whole plan. Then people did actually sign up. I made like $2,000 from my OnlyFans.
way.
That's
Which
insane.
is like, obviously you're not going to live on it, but it was more money than I ever thought I'd make from my sexuality.
That is brilliant.
So-
That's a
I'm
month's
thrilled
rent.
I hear
I'd take that.
at your set though, you said something, you got like a really weird request in your DMs about beans or something like
You
that.
have women sending you pictures of themselves all
stop.
the time.
It's very strange, yeah. I apply to a certain demographic really appreciate me, sort of like a divorced, 50-something year old will often send me a picture of the baps.
Like, just freely on
Just,
Instagram.
happened the other day. I had a show in Limerick, and a woman was like, can't wait to see your show in Limerick. I was like, oh, thanks a million. I do a meet and greet after. See you there. And she just sent a picture of the baps, like, ready to fucking roll. And I was like, I sent her a picture of mine back. that
Meet me behind
that
the
part
tent.
is a joke. I didn't do that. That would be illegal. I think it's illegal.
I find that crazy.
It's mental.
When you said that, because you mentioned it during your set at the Paddy Power Comedy Festival, and I told Daniel, and I was like, women do that, because when
I can
a
show
girl
you
has
some wild stuff.
oh Jesus,
You would not believe. There's stuff I haven't even said. You would not believe some of the stuff that has been said.
And sometimes it's women that are in full relationships as well.
We've had some stalking. We have had some weird stuff happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever had to get like a restraining order type of thing?
We've had to go to the Garrons about 2 people.
Oh, God.
But yeah. Somebody was. One of them I feel kind of bad for because they were like clearly very mentally ill.
Oh my God.
But they thought I was like. Basically, like that I was gang stalking them. Have you heard of this?
No,
Do you know
what does that mean?
So it was like me and a load of other. I'm not putting myself in the celebrity camp, but that's how they were viewing it. Okay. So it's like me and a load of other prominent Irish people.
Okay.
Were like, showing up while they were at Tesco and like watching them, and we were trying to convince them to do things and stuff like that. And they ended up sending messages. I think they sent out like 1,000 messages to people telling them I was trying to have them killed, and I was so we've had some weird people. But when you're exposed to enough people, you will find eventually, it's just a matter of time before you run into somebody like that, and it's not their fault. That's somebody who's
It's still quite scary though,
it's scary,
isn't it?
but that's a person that's not well, so it's not their fault. So it can be nuts sometimes. Yeah,
That
for
is
sure.
crazy. You were really thrown into the deep end as well,
I
weren't you?
I definitely was.
You were thrown into the deep end. But for people that don't know, and I'm sure everyone does know at this stage, you're a musician.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Little bit, yeah.
I heard you singing, it was at Bewley's, I think it was last year?
Oh, yeah, for the mental health, Grow mental health
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And I didn't realise that you had sang, but you are phenomenal. You were on the Late Late Show recently as well,
I
weren't
was
you?
on the country
How
music
was
special.
that?
It was unreal. Like it's such a weird. Like I never thought when I started doing the early TikToks. Like one of my first TikToks I remember is I went down to Tesco and I bought a cake that was €20 and I saved up to buy this cake. Because I was like, I'm gonna review the most expensive Christmas cake in Tesco, and it was the first video that had a budget, right?
Yeah.
And I had no idea when I started doing those videos that I was going to wind up being on the Late Late Show. Like there was no way anybody could have watched that and said that fella's going to wind up being on the Late Late. So it was amazing. Like there's
brilliant.
nothing better than being on the Late Late in Ireland, I think so.
And do you feel, so obviously you do the food reviews on TikTok as well. Do you want your music to kind of take, like, not, do you want to be known more for your music or for the food review side of things? Like,
no, I'm quite happy with what I've got now because before I had to do a lot of the music stuff very much as my day job. So I had to go and play a lot of weddings. I had to go and do a lot of pub gigs. I really had to make it my living.
Yeah.
And now I sort of have the freedom where, because the social media thing has become my job, I'm able to sort of do what I want to do with music.
Yeah.
I can kind of make it the way I want. It doesn't really have to do well. There's no pressure on it. So I really like that. A lot of people seem to think that it would be not the way I would want it to be, but I actually think it's great. Making a living, even if you're very successful at music, it's very tough. Like it's a lot of touring. It's a lot of... I like sitting in my house.
So
Like
do
screaming at
I don't leave my
cheeseburgers. I
bedroom.
really like it.
Choose that life.
No, but you know what? I think sometimes with stuff like that, you just really can't predict what's gonna happen. Like
Come
even
of it,
look at
yeah.
James Doyle with New Era.
Yeah.
Like I think he just went in randomly one day and
Devlin
and
Field.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, like, and it just comes out of nowhere, and then that just skyrocketed. So you never know, because you do
100%.
an awful lot of gigging, so
Yeah.
you just genuinely don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to be able to say now that like things could get about 50% worse and I'd still be thrilled with my life. So
I love that.
I don't think you can beat that.
No, that is good.
Yeah. If they got 60% worse though, I'd be fucking pissed off.
Beyonce don't even
That's
fucking think
fair.
about it.
That's so fair. Would you be the type of person that prefers to stay in or likes a night out?
I'm a bit older than you now, so I'm 30, so I'm kind of getting to old man age. So I like going out. I go out the odd time. Now, I will say with TikTok, you probably know this yourselves, some people are really fucking annoying. You'll get people that just come up and just hover. I don't mind people coming up, taking pictures, saying hello,
Yeah,
having a
absolutely.
bit of a chat with them, but somebody who kind of talks to you for 10 minutes and then just kind of sits there and stares at you. And like sort of just is like, oh, I'm just part of your entourage now. Even though you're only here with one other person, I've decided to ruin it. So yeah, that does put me off going out. I don't really go to busy places. I go fairly quiet places.
Yeah.
Usually more so when I'm home. I live in Dublin now, so like I wouldn't dream of going to fucking Caulfield. I wouldn't dream of going to Caulfield.
God.
How are you finding the move from the country to the big smoke?
I like it, yeah. I was coming up here a lot for stuff, so I was up here like 4 or 5 times a week, and I was having to stay in hotels and stuff, and like
It makes more sense just to
Yeah.
stay up here, basically.
yeah, there was a day where I was washing a pair of underwear in the sink because I hadn't been home in a week and a half, and I was like, really need to freshen these underwear up. I've gotten all left. I was like, I think it's time to move.
I think it's time to move.
Yeah.
I think it's time for a bit of change.
Yeah.
What have you noticed, like big differences between Dublin and Mayo? What would you say? Good and bad.
The major bad thing is the traffic. The traffic
Oh, yeah.
is
Yeah, it's
insane.
a lot, isn't it?
I won't
So-
drive into town unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah, it's nuts. So I live, I'm not going to tell people where I live. I don't know. I'm acting like this was a personal conversation. Sorry, I forgot we were doing a podcast. Never fucking mind where I live. You'll never find out.
Somewhere in Dublin.
Yeah, I live in Dublin. Who knows how close it is to town? But the place where I live is reasonably close to town. So I kind of have to always deal with the traffic. And some days, the same journey will take 15 minutes. And then some days, it'll take an hour and a
Yeah.
half. And I am not used to this because
Yeah.
there's 3 cars in Mayo. So like you always know exactly how long it's going to take to get. So I'm late for stuff all the time. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll be there in 20 minutes. An hour and 40 minutes later.
Yeah,
I
it's so unpredictable
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
isn't it? And what would you say is one thing that you've loved about Dublin since moving up? Is there anything?
gonna
I don't
have to
blame you if
be-
there's not.
It's quite a simple one. It's going to have to be the ample selection on Deliveroo. I mean, 360 restaurants near me. How's a man to choose? He'll simply have to have 4 takeaways a day to get through them all.
I forget every time that like I go somewhere down the country or up north that a lot of them don't have Just Eat or Deliveroo, and I'm like, how?
Remember we went up to Nave's caravan for the very first time. So this
Yeah.
is when Nave was in the caravan era and she lived in the mobile home. But we went up just to surprise her one day.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of us, and we wanted to order some takeaway.
Yeah.
Nothing on Deliveroo, nothing on
No.
Just Eat. We were like, what the fuck is going on here? What universe have we entered where we can't
Yeah.
actually
I
order
don't find that's
food?
weird to you.
No, do you know
It's
what? I
so
do forget.
strange.
You know when you're from a certain place, I do think that everywhere in the country does be like that until I come out and I'm like, actually, no other country is like, county is like
Yeah, it is.
this.
It's quite
No, we're all the
scary.
same country.
No, I know. Yeah, I had a brain freeze.
We actually do have Just Eat in Ballina.
Okay.
But there are 4 places, and 3 of them are Apache. So
Right.
it's one Apache. It's there twice, and then it's down as another place called like Kebab Hut or something. But when you order it, you get Apache. So I don't know. I'm not calling you out, Apache. I don't know what you're doing there. But we don't have a lot of variety. I come up here, I'm getting sushi. I don't really like it, but it's there, so I'm gonna try it out. I'm getting all sorts of things, very exotic.
So would you just have to deal with Apache?
Yeah, you pretty much. I like Apache. I think Apache's pretty good. I think Apache gets a hard rep. I think their pizzas are pretty good. I think they've got some of the best chips in the business. They paid me last year. The contract is up. Okay, I can say what I want.
Yeah.
But I do like Apache.
Yeah.
They open late.
The
The only
only
thing
chipper chips.
I love chipper chips.
Don't they? Do they do
They
chipper
do
chips?
proper chipper chips. Yeah.
Yeah, up here they don't do that.
Do they not
It's
do?
frozen chips up in Dublin, yeah.
Right. I think we've got better quality Apache out the country
I
then.
do. I will say that though, anytime I have been down the country, the food is
Nicer.
delicious.
Oh,
And you don't eat Supermax here, which is wild.
Well,
to
there's
me.
one on
Disgraceful
O'Connell
to
Street,
know
but
that.
I think everybody in Dublin just decides to collectively avoid it.
yeah.
In the nicest way possible. I love the chicken nuggets out of
Supermax
Supermax.
is nice.
Supermax is the best fast food franchise on the planet.
I love a taco cheese chips from there.
It's their taco fries are class. Their curry cheese chips are class. All their burgers are
Yeah.
on me. They've never paid me. I'd love if they would.
This is the moment.
Yeah.
Supermax.
They've
You are
never paid
missing a
me.
golden opportunity.
And I swear to God, it is the best. If you're talking takeaways, like franchises where you know what you're going to get, Supermax is the best one.
Yeah, I think they give
Absolutely.
Supermax a hard time up here because they put one in Tala.
Yeah, they
You know what I mean?
they should
That
be
is
everywhere, man. I order
disgraceful.
Supermax on a regular basis still, and it's hard to find one here.
That's so fair.
Yeah.
That is so fair.
Sorry, that was just a little love letter to Supermax. That's how I feel.
They're also watching right now,
Yeah.
so fair.
Yeah, exactly. Golden opportunity.
Thanks, Beyonce. Thanks, Supermax.
So if you see Garron with a Supermax brand deal soon, mind your business.
Know that I took it with love.
You're very loved by Ireland. Like a lot of people, anytime they see you or even your videos, you're so loved. Does it ever get overwhelming at any point where you're like, oh shit, this is a lot?
Yeah, like people are very nice to me.
Yeah.
And I think part of me is waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like
Really?
I'm kind of like, okay, well, like this, like I see even I go on Facebook and people are saying nice things about me.
Yeah.
People don't say nice things on Facebook. Everybody knows that.
That's where all the Karens all group up
Mommy's on a
together. Yeah.
He's on the mission.
I've started to get a bit more hate recently, but
Really?
like I still think I'm getting very lucky. I still think I'm getting off very light, and I'm just waiting for when people eventually realise, actually, why the fuck have we made this lad well known? Look,
know
what it is?
what's he
Deserve it.
even doing? He's just eating spice bags in the
No,
house.
but you deserve it. It's that thing of, do you ever see on TikTok and
Make
it's
the
like,
right people
make the right
famous.
people famous. And
Yeah.
they did.
But you know what it is? I think it's very much you've established yourself as a man of the people. I think, do you know
You
what
are
it
the
is?
people's
It's
people.
because you talk about the shrinkflation, you talk about
Yeah.
everything, but like, I think an awful lot of people, what happens with social media is they become very unrelatable. And that's when people decide, like, we gave you the platform, we're going to take it away.
Yeah.
Which to me, again, I feel like is a bit of bullshit, but, you know.
It's a lot of
I think I'm relatively lucky in that I probably won't have that problem because I have absolutely no interest in the high life. I only like the 4 things I like, and everything else terrifies me. I
Exactly.
don't like
Really?
going on holidays. I don't like clothes that don't look exactly the same as the clothes I already have. I'm very much set in my ways. So
Yeah.
even if I became like a multi-millionaire, I'd probably still be wearing the same shoes.
I
And
love
people would be
that.
telling me, oh, buy new shoes. I'd be saying, but I know these shoes. They fit me and they're comfortable.
They do
And
the
if
job.
I get new shoes, I'd have to walk around for 2 days in them, and I just don't want to have to do that.
I love that though. You're spending your money wisely.
Very frugal. Very frugal woman.
You have spoken a bit about, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, is it agoraphobia?
Agoraphobia, yeah.
Yeah. Can you let those that are listening know exactly what it is and how it was experiencing that, and how do you deal with it?
So yeah, I have, I would say I have it. So it's something that I think if you have like a mental health issue, you kind of need to always be aware that it exists in you, so that, you know, when you start to see those signs of it creeping up again, you can get on top of it before it gets bad.
Yeah.
So agoraphobia is so I used to have very severe panic attacks. So
Really?
I would have panic attacks. Anybody who's experienced a panic attack will know, but people experience them differently. Some people think they're going to go crazy. Some people feel like they're actually going to die.
Yeah.
I developed this sort of thing where I was constantly having symptoms of panic attacks. So I'd be checking my pulse all the time. I would be feeling pains in my chest. So almost like what people would think of being like a hypochondriac or something like that. But the anxiety was giving me symptoms all the time. It was always feeding me symptoms, and then I would freak out and I would make them worse.
Yeah.
So that started because one of my friends died. One of my friends, he died when I was about 16. So that's when it started to take off. And then it's kind of, I would have panic attacks here and there. But then eventually they became so overwhelming that I was just having them all the time.
Really?
And so I couldn't leave the house. So if I tried to leave the house, sometimes even my bedroom, if I tried to leave the house, immediately I would just be overwhelmed. I would have panic attacks. I would be convinced I was going to die. And in the background of this, I always believed there was something else wrong with me. So even though they were panic attacks, I thought it was something else. I was like, oh, they haven't figured out.
Convincing yourself that was worse.
Yeah. So so that was kind of what made it worse, and I think a lot of people are experiencing that more now. I see it a lot more since COVID with people, where I found it hard to find somebody to relate to before all that happened. Like I couldn't find anybody who kind of had the similar experience to me. Now I see it on TikTok. I see it all the time. People experiencing the same thing.
That's one of the pros though, TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
you can find a community of people that you relate to.
Absolutely, yeah.
Big time.
I see it a lot now, especially with younger people, and especially with people who use a lot of weed. So I always say this, like, if you smoke a lot of weed, it's probably going to fuck your brain up if you're under 25. Just throw that in there. You can cut it out if you want.
Yeah, but it's important for the younger generation to hear as well.
Yeah, it's not, look, nothing's harmless, but so eventually it got to the point where I was just having panic attacks all the time. So I didn't leave my house for probably 5 years straight. I actually physically didn't leave the house. So didn't go shopping, didn't go out with friends, didn't do any of that. People would come to me, my friends. Lost a lot of my friends over time because I kind of isolated myself. And then for about 10 years, I would say I was very, very heavily. So I used to work from home and stuff like that. And then for about 10 years, I was my life was very limited. So there were times where I had work outside the house, but I would get a taxi to work because I couldn't get on the bus, couldn't stand at the bus stop, couldn't walk to the bus stop, couldn't do any of that. So I'd get a taxi from my front door to work. I would be in work, I would have a couple of panic attacks, I would get a taxi home, and that would be my life. And then I started doing gigs then, and then it was the same thing. So I would actually have panic attacks during the gigs, and I would sort of get off halfway through the gig, have my panic attack in the bathroom, come back, do the rest of the gig, because it was the only time I really got out of the house, so I wanted to keep at it. And those were the only things I did. And then I did something called cognitive behavioral therapy,
CBT.
which is so CBT, which is where basically you retrain your thinking. Now, I think when people talk about stuff like this, they always make it sound like it's like, oh, I did that and then I got better.
Then, it takes time as well, and it's like a repetitive thing that you have to introduce into your life.
It's unlearning
so
habits,
and
it's replacing them with new ones. But it takes a conscious effort, doesn't it?
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So I would have had it and then tried it, didn't work. Then I thought a bit more about it and then kind of went back to it, and it took years for it to really sink in with me what was happening. And eventually I was able to sort of expand my life out a bit more, and then, you know, I started literally just walking 10 steps around in my front garden, coming back into the house and getting comfortable with that. Then eventually I could go to the shops. And this year I've done 3 arena, so I'm in front of 13,000 people. I went to Dubai by myself. I can be alone in the house by myself. I live alone now. I could never be alone for like 5 minutes when I had the panic attacks. So I've gone all over the place by myself. So I always say that just because
it gets better.
Yeah,
does.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody was hopeless and thought they would never get better, it was me. I was convinced my life
Really?
was finished, and it wasn't. So, if anybody's experiencing
Wow.
a similar thing, you will get better.
That is such a powerful story. Like,
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but I'm flying it now. Now I have a soft job. So.
but thank you so much for being like vulnerable enough to share that with us. And I'm sure like we'll have people that are listening to this episode that are probably in a very similar situation and don't know how to get out of it. But like that, unlearning old habits is so important, and a lot of people don't know how to do that. And cognitive behavioral therapy is a game changer, like
Absolutely.
massively. And you're a prime example of that.
Absolutely. And if you don't have access to it, because sometimes it can take a long time to get on the waiting list, there's loads of information out there about
Yeah.
it. Just don't spend your time Googling the things that are wrong with you. Look up these just things that you can practice, and they do work. They don't
Yeah.
work immediately. They feel like that's not going to work. But do try it. Just start doing something. I know there are delays. I know things cost money. These things get in the way. They got in the way for me. But you can start making a lot of progress.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you can get a lot better for sure.
Younger you would probably be so like amazed by what you're doing
For
now.
sure.
Like,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I love hearing stories like that because you've come such a long way and you've built this whole new life for yourself. And yeah, hats off you. That's incredible.
Well,
I
thank you
love
very
that.
much.
That is
Yeah,
really,
no,
really
absolutely.
good.
Right, Garron, we have this little segment that we do with some of our guests. It's called Wrong Way Round. So what we want you to do is we're going to give you a quick fire round of questions. You have to answer them as quick as you can,
Incorrectly.
incorrectly.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, warmed up, locked and loaded.
Right, let's
do
go.
it. Right, 3, 2, 1. What's the best hangover cure?
Putting your feet in your mouth.
What animal plays fetch?
A chicken wing.
What's the difference between Mayo and Dublin?
We have bigger willies.
What's the best way to relax?
You wanna sort of sprinkle a hose on your nipples.
What? Who is the greatest Irish athlete?
That would be probably I'd have to say Chicken Little.
What is a microwave used for?
Warming up your ears.
What's the best place to have a wedding?
In your forklift.
What's the best way to train for a marathon?
You want to spin around and circle things.
What's Santa's job?
To eat cream eggs.
What sound does a pig make?
Spoof.
How do you sign off an email?
Whoops.
What's the best drink on a night out?
Chicken dippers.
What utensil do you use to cut a cake?
To cut a, sorry?
A cake.
You use your fingertips.
Oh, Garron, me stomach.
My head
You have been an
That's the
absolute
best one.
pleasure to have on
Oh, I'm
this
sweating.
podcast. Genuinely, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I'm crying. I am
Appreciate it.
sobbing, genuinely. So for those that are listening, where can we find you on socials?
It is a Garron_music. Occasionally there's music, but mostly it's me shouting at things up on the shop.
Love it. Is that for every
That's
platform?
for every platform. We're consistent with the brand. Yeah.
Love it.
Love it.
Garron, you're a legend. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Legends, thank you so much. Sobbing. Oh,
my
lads. Lads.
What a legend.
That
I
was the
love
funny-
him. He
I've
is
never
brilliant.
laughed more in my life.
For that wrong way round tears, like, oh my, that was brilliant.
It's not a
Absolutely
nipple
brilliant.
play. Not
Nipple play?
Nipple.
Not nipples.
Yeah.
Was
Not
there? I
nipple. And
wasn't
willies.
registering all you was saying.
She's just dead. She's just literally like kissing the table, laughing like.
Oh,
Well, lads,
God.
it's our last episode.
It's our last
Season
episode.
2 wrapped
It's
up.
finished. That's at their flying, boy.
What the hell?
That is at their flying.
Before
boy.
we know, it's going to be a year since we started this podcast.
I know.
Well, technically, the journey.
Has
The
been
journey's
over a
gonna be
year.
the hardest part. What's that, Miley Cyrus?
The journey is always the most rewarding part, is it? It's all about the journey, not the destination.
So it's time
okay,
to
Pinterest.
say goodbye. 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 Goodbye.
When I see you again. Oh. Oh.
But lads, thank you so
Doing the
much.
choir part.
Thank you so much for streaming season 2 and season 1 is Socially Awkward.
Yeah, we've
Maybe
had
we'll
a
be back.
blast.
We'd love to come back, but
Yeah.
nothing's set in stone yet. So we don't know, but
If we're
It's
back,
been a blast.
deal with it.
Deal with it.
and if we're not, then
Cry about it.
this is us logging off forever.
Then
so
we want, if you can come and make equipment more expensive.
Yeah.
they have. That's
all
why.
right.
That's fair enough then.
That's probably the reason we won't be coming back if we don't. They've made it more expensive.
Yes. Well, I've had the best time with season 1 and 2, guys.
I know.
I know Peter was with Jules, but I've had a great time. How's everybody else's experience?
Shy.
Shy.
With you.
I know it's been so fun. It's nice having that something to look forward to each week when we come in to record and then. I
No,
know.
sorry, Shy, just because Daniel was here. Sorry, not because of you. So I
Yeah, a
enjoyed
bit
it.
late to say
I enjoyed
that
it when
now.
Daniel wasn't here.
That's like the thing of you're after having an argument with someone and you go home and you're like you remember what you should have said in that argument.
So this is us logging off for season 2. Thank you so much, lads.
Happy New Year!
And thank you, RTE Player, for sponsoring this
Oh my God, it's the
season.
new year!
It's the new year. Happy New
Guys,
Year.
little secret, it's not even Christmas yet when we're filming this. Oh, hope to see you soon.
Love you.
Love you. One last
Bye.
time, bye all together. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Bye.